When the words finally came out of his mouth, the world seemed to stop breathing. Lee Min-ho, the man millions adored, the star who had been endlessly linked to rumors, love interests, and on-screen partners, had finally admitted what fans had only dared to dream. He wasn't single. He wasn't searching. He was already taken. And not just taken, married. To the one person everyone had always suspected, but could never quite prove. Kim Go-eun. It happened during a quiet interview. No flashing lights. No grand build-up. Just a moment of honesty that changed everything. When asked about his view on love after years in the spotlight, Lee Min-ho paused, smiled softly, and said words no one expected. Love isn't about hiding. It's about protecting. I've been married for 7 years now, to the person I wanted to protect the most. For a moment, the reporter froze. The world went silent. And then, in one breath, everything fans had been speculating for years suddenly made sense. 7 years. 7 years of secrecy. 7 years of whispers. 7 years of subtle posts, matching bracelets, and parallel lives. And through it all, they'd kept their marriage hidden. Not because they were ashamed, but because they wanted to protect something sacred. Sources later revealed that the two had privately tied the knot long ago, in an intimate ceremony attended by only family and closest friends. No cameras, no announcements, no headlines, just a quiet promise, exchanged under soft lights, sealed with a simple vow, that no matter what fame demanded, their hearts would belong only to each other. Those who knew them back then said it was inevitable. From the very first day they met, something about the way they looked at each other felt different. It wasn't scripted. It wasn't rehearsed. It was real. He once described her as a person who feels like home. She once said he was the kind of calm I didn't know I needed. And maybe that's what love really is. Not fireworks, but warmth. Not a storm, but a steady flame. Fans began piecing together the puzzle. That mysterious ring Go-eun wore during one photo shoot. The one she brushed off as a prop. The matching bracelet seen on both their wrists during an award show. One he wore under his sleeve. One she wore in plain sight. The identical coffee cups they both posted within hours of each other. One captioned, "Morning Peace." The other, same. It had all been there. Hidden in plain sight. When the confession aired, social media went wild. Clips of the interview spread like wildfire. Fans rewatched every moment from their past collaborations. Every look, every smile, every unspoken gesture. But this time, they weren't just watching chemistry. They were witnessing history. Because behind every scene, behind every on-screen glance, was a real story. A marriage built quietly, faithfully, away from the noise. One insider close to both stars shared. They chose privacy because they wanted love to remain theirs. Fame can twist anything pure. But they promised each other, love first, fame second. It wasn't an easy promise to keep. For 7 years, they lived in a world that constantly tried to pull them apart. Different schedules, different continents, different projects that demanded their attention and emotions. But no matter how far they traveled, they always found their way back to each other. Lee Min-ho's closest friend once revealed something touching. He never travels without her photo. It's always in his wallet. He says it reminds him that no matter how far he goes, someone's waiting for him to come home. And Kim Go-eun? She had her own quiet rituals. She would wear his scent, just a trace, before filming emotional scenes. She once said in an old interview, "It helps me remember something real, even when I'm acting." Fans didn't understand it then. They do now. Their marriage wasn't perfect. There were times when the weight of secrecy took its toll. When public rumors tested their patience. When time apart made them question if silence was worth it. But every time doubt crept in, they found strength in the promise they made. To love quietly. to live truthfully, and to never let fame define their bond. The most touching part of Lee Min-ho's confession, however, wasn't the revelation itself, but what came after. When the interviewer asked him why he chose now, after so many years, to finally tell the truth, he smiled again, that same familiar smile fans knew so well, and said, "Because she deserves to be known, not just as an actress, but as the woman who stood beside me every single day. I didn't marry a co-star. I married my best friend." It was quiet, simple, but deeply sincere. And that one line alone melted the hearts of millions around the world. In the days that followed, the two became the center of every headline, not for scandal, but for the rare kind of love that endures despite everything. Old photos resurfaced. Behind-the-scenes clips went viral. People started calling them Korea's secret married couple. And while neither of them flaunted their relationship publicly, their actions said it all. During a recent award show, Kim Go-eun arrived in a minimalist white dress. No jewelry, no flash, just grace. Lee Min-ho, sitting in the audience, clapped a second too long when she walked on stage. Their eyes met briefly. She smiled. He looked down. But fans caught it. That silent spark, the one that survived 7 years of secrecy, was still burning. Close friends say that the two share a quiet home away from Seoul, a place filled with books, soft lighting, and their shared memories. It's where they retreat when the cameras are too bright, where they cook together, watch old movies, and just exist as themselves. No titles, no scripts, no pressure, just Min-ho and Go-eun, two people who found something rare and refused to let the world ruin it. When asked what he's learned from 7 years of marriage, Lee Min-ho's answer was poetic. That love isn't loud. It doesn't always need to be seen. It's about the quiet moments, when you wake up and realize that your heart still chooses the same person, even after all these years. And that's what their story has always been. Not grand, not performative, but beautifully human. For Kim Go-eun, love has given her strength. Her performances in recent years carry a new depth, a subtle warmth that fans can feel but can't quite explain. When asked about what inspires her artistry now, she smiled and said, "Happiness, the kind that doesn't need to be shared to be real." Her fans knew. They always knew. The world sees them as stars. But behind the fame are two hearts that found their home in each other. For 7 years, they kept that home private, guarded it, nurtured it, made it theirs. Now, finally, they no longer have to hide it. Lee Min-ho's confession wasn't just a revelation. It was freedom. For both of them. And as the dust settled, fans couldn't help but feel grateful. Grateful that in a world filled with temporary love, some hearts still choose forever. That even in the chaos of fame, there are still stories built on patience, loyalty, and truth. That Lee Min-ho and Kim Go-eun story, though hidden for 7